on the other side of King James Version, there was the use of this word Easter. And I want us to read it first before we proceed. In Acts chapter 12, verse 4, using the King James Version first, there came a point when King Herod was persecuting Christians and he was looking for Peter after he killed James. And in verse 4, it reads, "And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quintillions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people." Now, I want us to also check out the New King James Version. "So when he had arrested him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 squads of soldiers to keep him, intending to bring him before the people after Passover." Now, if you check out these 2 verses from the New King James Version and from the King James Version, the original language of Acts chapter 12, verse 4, that the Greek use pasture, P-A-S-C-H-E, and pasture is translated to Passover. So whenever you hear pasture in the original language, it means Passover and is not Easter. So the King James Version wrongly use Easter instead of Passover, and therefore it does not authorize us to celebrate Easter. Well, within 325 AD, when the church ran into apostasy, there came a point that there was a council called Council of Nicaea. They implemented or came out with a lot of festivals. They will check through the pagan festival, they will check through the Jewish festivals, and instead of them to be able to fetch through the Bible and see if those festivals are in line with the Bible authority, they did not. Simply because they wanted to win a lot of people to become Christians. So instead of preaching the gospel, they were infusing pagan festivals and Jewish festivals into Christianity. And one of them is Easter. Now, I want us to check on the screen. Together, we are going to read history about Easter. Now, Easter comes from the name of a pagan goddess, Easter. Please listen very carefully. Easter comes from the name of a pagan goddess, Easter, who was worshipped at the vernal equinox. The term is derived from the heathen religion. This is what the first evidence I want us to check. And any of you watching me right now can also type it. That's why I am projecting on the screen. You can type it in any of the search engines or wherever you make your researches. You can connect it with a good book to find out if whatever I'm saying is true. So the word Easter is associated with a goddess, and that is an idolatry. Now, another research is it has been posited that Easter, that is Eostre, is the English spelling of the ancient Assyrian goddess Ishtar, the fertility goddess and consort of Baal, who repeatedly led ancient Israel into idolatry and immorality in Babylon. Her worshippers observe a 40-day Lent before Easter, and numerous other pagan religions observe a similar Lenten period. So if you check out some little histories, if you read further, you will realize that the word Easter was a goddess festival. It was a pagan goddess they were attributing that festival to. So it was purely idolatry. So I want to tell you, Easter is not authorized by the Bible, but historical background tells us that Easter is related to an Assyrian goddess, a pagan festival. So anybody celebrating Easter now indirectly is celebrating a pagan festival. And that is it. Sometimes we need to get into the root. Now, I want us to read Colossians chapter 2 verse 8. It reads, beware, lest anyone cheat you through philosophy and empty deceit, according to the tradition of men, according to the basic principles of the world, and not according to Christ. Anything that is not according to Christ, by the basic principles of men, that breaches the law of God, we are not supposed to be involved in. It is a pagan festival. We are not authorized. And that's why people will be kissing a statue they name Jesus. They'll just be kissing this statue. It's a pagan festival. Acts 17 warn us not to attribute this in Christianity. All right. 1 Corinthians 4, chapter 4, verse 6 read, now, these things, brethren, I have fortunately transferred to myself and Apollos for your sake, that you may learn in us not to think beyond what is written, that none of you may be puffed up on behalf of one against the other. So we don't need to think beyond what is given by the apostles through the inspiration of God. We don't need to say that we need to put this day, celebrate Jesus. No. In Hebrews chapter 8 verse 5 we read, who served the copy and shadow of the heavenly things, as Moses was divinely instructed when he was about to make the tabernacle. For he said, see that you make all things according to the pattern shown you on the mountains. So as Christians, according to the pattern made by application, made by Jesus Christ, should be what we should follow. Don't forget, Easter comes from the Assyrian goddess Ishtar. Okay? And that's why I've already given and projected the short histories for us to know. Please, thank you very much. God richly bless you. And in case you have any question, don't hesitate to ask. Bye.
So the original Bible was written so many years ago before the slave trade Bible. That is the Negro Bible.
Kind Revelation 21:21. Or say,
let me take you aback. Simon the Cyrenian, who helped Jesus to carry the cross, was an African.
In sorrow, he's my comfort. In trouble, he's my stay. He tells